And there's a wet portion. Time for some housekeeping.
That lineup ng Tropang Texters on the floor. This is that same lineup that they started out with game number 4. That if you're Coach Chot, you're thinking that turn things around for your team, and he's sticking with it.
Seems to have worked before. Why not go with it again? Simpson picks up the loose ball, dribbling mistake that time by TNT. Baguio nowhere to go. Here's Simpson. They're trying to be a little more patient with Simpson at the apex of the triangle. There might be a foul against Devance from the rear.
Remember, Alaska being a much smaller team, not playing with Sonny Thoss in this game, not at least not starting. So it's really going to be difficult for them. They have to crash the boards as a group.
We got to do a statistic on when Devance goes pro, do they win the ball game, and how many statistics does he have? And I'm sure Patricia, hindi ka naman nagpapahuli sa ganyan. Patricia, what do you have?
I don't know if you want that, Devance, but I'm going to save that for a little later because I wanted to talk to you about Coach Tim Cone, whose voice is finally back. Remember that he lost his voice because of stress, and he had to concede that vocal coaching role to Joel Banal last time out. He says winning for them is in the details, especially now that their backs are against the wall, and they need to play with positive emotion. Sonny Thoss will not be playing in this playoffs anymore because he suffered from a chip on his ankle after landing on Kelly Williams' foot. They got to make do with a smaller, quicker lineup since they lack the size. They have to rely on some Miguel Reynel and Tony and put the ball in Diamond's hands. Sev?
Thanks a lot for that very quick update. I was beginning to wonder what Thoss was, and that report, a very, very nice connection to that last play because the size is a problem. Yes, for Alaska here today.
And when Tropang Texters brought in Kelly Williams into that starting unit, they became a much bigger team. And then you can see it right there. Kelly Williams getting offensive rebounds to get multiple cracks at the basket.
And I think they become a little more athletic at that as well. As in the meantime, we go to Sean Daniels. This ball movement has been the asset of TNT in the course of the tournament. Ball tapped away. We're going to pause for the timeout buzzer. And it's a full ceasefire. We'll return very quickly. Tropang Texters already with a 3-point lead.
Welcome back to the PBA on Solar TV. Leo Cruz also on hand for this ball game. Now, of course, it is do or die for the Alaska Aces today at the Big Dome. And one guy to keep our eyes on today is the Aces, Reynel Hugnatan, as we take a look at his numbers coming off the bench. Definitely a contributing factor over there. Now, Reynel tells me that his job coming off the bench is to sustain the work of the first 5 or make up for it if they lacked. And the mindset, of course, is kailangan aggressive kaagad. Now, another guy who is also benefiting from a change in mindset is Jason Castro, chipping in some numbers for those 3 games won from Tropang Texters. Now, what he tells me and what his coaching staff tells me also is that he has changed his mindset to become very, very aggressive. Rather than deferring to the superstars on the team, he takes charge, he plays with intensity, and therefore contributes for his team. 7, Jason?
Well, I guess the semifinals bring that out of a player. I like the fact that Castro's trying to shoot it a little more from the outside since we've taken a close look at his career from college. Ayaw talaga tumira sa labas yan eh.
Yes, of course he's worked on it. And just to add to that, Ryan Reyes out, Mac Cardona not having a great series.
Yes.
Someone has to step up from that part of their rotation, and Jason Castro very willing to take those minutes.
In the last game, which I was watching, Miko and Alex covered, nervous kapag tumitira si Jason Castro kasi hindi niya usually ginagawa. Kaso pumasok, 18 puntos ang ginawa niya ng last game. And this game is tied at 10.
Close game. That's why we've seen much of the series except for game number 4 in the start of this series and game number 1. You know, these two teams, playing at a very high level of basketball.
Hey, Randy Del Campo with some new dancing shoes. But not quick enough for him to stop L.A. Tenorio there.
Really talking about that in the last coverage 2 games ago. As we see L.A. Tenorio taking advantage of the rest of the Tropang Texters, not looking at man and ball, no help defenders, and a good finish right there for L.A. We're talking about that, yung sapatos nga ni Ranidel who goes to the bench. You know, when you wear shoes like that, Seth, ibig sabihin, maganda nilalaro mo.
You know?
Kasi buo loob mo eh. Buo loob mo magsuot ng ganyan.
Okay. So if I see a pink pair of rubber shoes,
sigurado maganda nilalaro nun.
Okay, thanks for the advice. There's Cardona, Dillinger. He's also pining for a big game in the series. He's been in and out of the roster actually as Castro pops from 15. Up and out, and Simpson collects that board. Here's Baguio's off to a good start. The Vans will get it to simply trickle in, and he got a foul from Williams as well.
Now there's a lot of guys that have struggled on the part of Alaska. Joe DeBat also being one of them ever since Kelly Williams was inserted into that lineup in that starting rotation. Right there, he finally attacked Kelly Williams, and right now, key guys for Alaska getting good contribution. L.A. Tenorio, Cyrus Baguio, and Joe DeVance.
Joe DeVance had a good first game with 19 points. Help along Hugnatan and Simpson in game number 1, but that seems so long ago. And this series already in its 6th game. Nice forward pitch. Alaska burning this Araneta Coliseum hardwood with an early surge. It's an 8-point lead. Chot Reyes has no recourse, but press the timeout buzzer now. Just stepping out of a TNT timeout, time to look at some important numbers. Alaska has won games 1 and 3, and those are games wherein their offense was in high gear.
It's very strange because usually Alaska, you would think a more defensive team compared to Talk and Text, but the numbers don't suggest that. Have more points, a big amount of points in those wins, 97 compared to 79 in those losses.
Turnover by TNT. Tenorio sidestepping and scoring.
Coach Chot Reyes really forced to call that timeout after Alaska called a timeout 2 minutes ago because his team not playing the defense that they want. Again, L.A. Tenorio gets to the middle of the lane, able to create something for himself. Already a 10-0 run being done by Alaska.
And Chot Reyes is disappointed not with his offense. It's the way, as you pointed out, his players seem to not be conscious of where the ball is and where the man is. And that's why Ranidel was brought down for a while. And there was that very stern look coming from Chot Reyes. And that's the lean-in Alapag special.
That's a sign of a leader right there. Jimmy Alapag coming off the bench. He knew his team was in trouble, attacked the basket, and tried to create something for themselves.
And keep in mind, Talk and Text with a chance to close it here today. Chot Reyes and his team, second opportunity to be together in the conference finals. The Simpson all knotted up, but was fouled. Castro with the foul, his first. Let's send it to Leah.
Thanks for Coach Chot Reyes. His keys to winning this ball game are things that they've actually been doing right for the past few games. Number 1, Sean Daniels has to match up well with Diamond Simpson, especially since he's been putting up some good numbers lately. They also have to stay disciplined defensively. Alaska has a very patient offense that attacks when they make defensive mistakes. And since Talk and Text likes to run, mistakes are hard to avoid, so they have to keep that in mind. Also, they have to come out and match Alaska's energy and intensity because, as we can see, they are playing like there's no tomorrow. Seb?
And everything that Leah said was not happening for Talk and Text on the floor so far. And defensive discipline, nothing in a couple of plays. Both sides, by the way, with 3 turnovers apiece. Simpson, banging, scoring.
And it almost seems for Talk and Text, they've forgotten the things that got them here. Playing good defense, making Diamond Simpson work. And these are the things that Alaska has been able to get going here in the first quarter.
Correct. As Carey tries to cut it up from 10, it won't stay inside. And could be a Sean Daniels foul. He knew it. And Tim Cone is dancing the locomotion along the sideline. Of course, hindi mo inabutan yan, Jason, because he felt there may have been traveling earlier. Look at that lead pass to Baguio. Nice catch! Masyado namang early opens yun.
At masyado namang madali yung naging puntos doon ni Cyrus Baguio. One pass, and a layup after one pass. Coach Chot Reyes forced to burn a 30-seconder because after 2 minutes of his timeout, ganun pa rin ang nangyayari sa kanila.
Absolutely, they need this. Handy fix ang first hit ng bakay mo.